Okay, this is a video on part one of the workshop craft. So, part one of the workshop craft is we're making this tapestry. I want it to be oriented landscape. I'm gonna see, I don't know how I'm gonna attach this. I got this silk scarf with our new, theme song of our program. I'm gonna figure out how to attach this on the center of it. I might try to glue it today. I gotta iron it first because it looks kind of bad. Okay, so then I'm gonna somehow attach some loops to the top. This is the back side because I'm just testing things out. I did a little test run there, but this is the back side of it. Shoot, I got it on my carpet too, which I don't want. Okay, so it's washable. I bought the washable. So we have this finger paint stuff. I'm gonna include some paper plates. I just opened the yellow. Each kid, you can have a paper plate and put some of the paint on there, and then have them do a handprint. Now we have to try to get everybody in there, so they're going to have to probably... I would start by, kind of spacing them out so that they look nice, but then I would gradually space them closer and closer together so that we can fit everybody. I mean, if we can't fit everybody, oh well then. But, just do the best you can. I think with the paint, the yellow was pretty light. You probably have to use a significant amount of paint for some of the lighter colors, maybe encourage more of the darker colors. If for some reason we run out of paint, oh well. Then we just get as many as you can on there and then deal with it. But, kind of have them do the hands in sort of different directions so it kind of looks pretty. And then under the handprint, so I envisioned you put a handprint, a kid handprint. Then I got Sharpie markers and then have them just write their first name. So, there would be a handprint in red right here and then Katie. And just help them on there so it doesn't, hopefully we don't get any big messes or smears or anything, because the idea is that maybe this might get hung somewhere. I'm going to attach some loops to the top and then have a rod, and it might get hung up on a wall somewhere and hopefully look nice and pretty. Maybe I'll also put some fringe or trim on the bottom. I don't know. I have to figure that out later. But in the immediate, what I want is like I said, I just tested it out with some thumbprints. You can see the first time I didn't have enough paint on my finger and it did hardly anything. I mean, I think it's probably, the yellow is probably going to be the worst color to go on there. I would say the other colors probably will look better. What is this, a pink one down in there? Anyway, and then I'll have some of those hand wipes in the room. So then have them do their handprint on this first. Then I'll show you in a separate video. I made some on by 1118 paper music staves. And what I'm thinking is, one of you, have them do this first. And then if there's still time and you need something else to do with them, on the paper staves, you could just practice. Everyone could draw a clef at the beginning. And then, you could use the Sharpies. And then they could, maybe draw the first line or the last line of the song, which is actually, I would say do the last line of the song. I don't think you're going to fit more than 4 measures on there. And even then they're going to have to be a little close together. So they'll do 4 measures. You could, if they each have enough paint left on their paper plate, they could make the quarter notes. My idea was that I saw this in another project. They could make the quarter notes with a thumbprint. Just using the leftover paint they used from the handprint to be conservative about the paint. And then, let it dry a little bit, and then they can just write this, draw a stem and draw the measure numbers in. I would do the clef first if you want to be authentic, key signature. And then, it can be in the clef of their instrument. So I would say, I'm going to try to make a sample one for, alto, treble, and bass clef tomorrow, but it might not have the thumbprints. I might just draw in. If there's not enough paint left to do that, that was just a side thing to have to if there's extra time in the craft portions, you could always have them draw coordinates in with a marker or even a pencil. I didn't really have pencils to provide. We got these Sharpies. So that could be the secondary project if this doesn't take enough time, so you don't have kids running around and going crazy in the the extra time in that craft project. And you could kind of have the parents deal with that with you guys. I probably need to get, this is going to be in Field Hall. I'll get some of those plastic disposable tablecloths so that they can do everything and not make a mess on tables and stuff. I mean, it's all washable. Well, Sharpies aren't. So we have to try to not have too much of a mess. I would just use the hand wipes that I got and have them do a quick clean off their hand and then send them to the bathroom with their parent to do a more thorough, washing the paint off. I mean, I just washed this off with a tissue and there's no paint on my thumb. So it wasn't that hard. I mean, I wiped it on this stupid Amazon bag, but I think that should be pretty easy. Like I said, I'm going to right now go and iron this, and I think I'm going to try to just crazy glue that on the center of it, and then, try not to have them get the finger paint on the center part, because that, looks nice how it is. So just do your best job to make it look pretty and presentable and all the things. Thank you.